Today, Kamala Harris praises Joe Biden's legacy ahead of his handover speech at the Democratic National Convention.
And for all you will continue to do, we are forever grateful to you.
Also ahead, Hamas urged to accept a US-backed bridging proposal that may lead to a Gaza ceasefire. Australia's childcare divide reveals data shows there are twice as many kids as there are childcare places. And Olympic medalist Matthew Richardson defects from Australia to ride for Great Britain. Hello and welcome to ABC News. I'm Ros Childs. US Vice President Kamala Harris has praised Joe Biden in a surprise appearance at the Democratic Convention in Chicago.
This November, we will come together and declare with one voice, as one people, we are moving forward.
Thousands of attendees are throwing their support behind Ms. Harris, who will take on Republican candidate Donald Trump in the November election. President Biden is expected to speak to the convention later this hour after bowing out of the race last month.
How many kids do you kill today?
Outside the stadium, thousands have been marching in protest of the government's positions on key issues, mainly the Israel-Gaza war. They're urging the Biden administration to drop its military support for Israel and pressure its government to accept a ceasefire. Our North America correspondent Carrington Clark is at the convention and joins us now. Hi there, Carrington. So there seems to be a celebratory mood there.
Yeah, it's an extraordinary level of energy. At the moment, we have behind me the former Secretary of State, the former Democratic candidate for the presidency.
Yeah, forecast GDP growth had been revised higher, and that despite an easing in the labour market, it remains tight in parts. The minutes say it's unlikely that the cash rate target will be reduced in the short term, and that it's not possible to either ruling or rule out further changes in the cash rate target. The RBA left interest rates on hold at the 12-year high of 4.35%.
Diagnosed with a drug-related illness, even though he didn't exhibit any of those symptoms. And he was prescribed a sedative that actually masked those symptoms, and as a result, the true nature of what he was going through was not covered. So what he did die from was a perforated bowel, and he died 24 hours after being discharged. The coroner has referred the senior doctor to the Healthcare Complaints Commission, and she also noted that his Aboriginality was not passed on from doctor to doctor in that very busy emergency department. The coroner said that more cultural training needed to be done within the Dubbo Hospital, and recommended that face-to-face training was needed. Now, Ros, I can't hear your questions at the moment, so I might just continue on. What the family said that was those recommendations were entirely welcomed, and that they hope that there could be healing and justice out of this. The father, Rick Hampson, said that there's no healing without justice, and this is just one step in that direction. He said that the coroner's findings actually puts doctors throughout New South Wales on notice. Here's a little of what he had to say.
Every day has been hell for us. We struggle to get up, we struggle to breathe, but carry on in the hope that we're going to get justice for our son. After 3 long years of fighting for justice and change, we feel that we're finally on the path to justice after receiving these findings and recommendations. But we will never heal fully as a family until we receive justice for Dougie.
And if this report has raised any issues for Torres Strait Islander or Aboriginal viewers, you can contact 13 Yarn on 13 92 76 or visit their website. That's 13yarn.org.au. Finance news now with Sam Yang. Hi there, Sam. The Reserve Bank has given more detail from its most recent decision on interest rates. What does it say?
Yeah, so the minutes from the Reserve Bank's August meeting, which has been released about an hour ago, show that board members have felt increasing pressure to lift rates again, but ultimately decided not to. Now, the board narrowly left the official cash rate on hold despite warning its tolerance for inflation returning to the 2 to 3% target band was limited. The minutes also cited that concerns that underlying inflation had fallen very little over the prior year. Forecast GDP growth had been revised higher, and that despite an easing in the labour market, it remains tight in parts. The minutes say it's unlikely that the cash rate target will be reduced in the short term, and that it's not possible to either rule in or rule out further changes in the cash rate target. The RBA left interest rates on hold at the 12-year high of 4.35% in its sixth straight meeting earlier this month, Ross.
More company results out today, Sam. How are they looking?
Yeah, so far so good overall, despite a few ugly results that had investors heading for the exits. Starting with Judo Bank now, the share price of Judo Bank is rising up around 9% after exceeding expectations with a $70 million profit. Plumbing supplies group Reliance also doing well in afternoon trade, up more than 8% after posting better than expected results from its US operations. PPE manufacturer Ansell cut its dividend but has flagged a return to earnings growth. Share price is up nearly 7%. Meanwhile, retailer Baby Bunting surged more than 7% despite reporting a fall in profits and cut its final dividend. Metal recycler Sims swung to a net loss of $58 million in fiscal year 2024 from a profit of $181 million a year ago. Share price is slightly up. Tech firm Hub24 has posted a net profit of $47.2 million. Share price is up 1%. The broader Australian share market is still tracking higher heading into the afternoon session. Let's take a look at the numbers. The All Ords and the ASX 200 index are up around 0.2% each, with the mining sector leading the gains. Turning across the region now, where the NZ50 is down around 0.8% at the moment. Nikkei is trading higher. Markets across China are in the red. Now in the US, the tech-heavy Nasdaq led all three major indices to a higher close, with help from Nvidia, Microsoft, and Alphabet. The S&P 500 extended its winning streak to eight consecutive sessions. The Dow Jones Index up around 0.6%, the S&P 500 up 1%, and the Nasdaq Composite gained 1.4%. On to commodity markets now. Gold is down, oil lower. And the Australian dollar is a little weaker against the greenback. It's buying around 67.2 US cents. And that is finance, Ross.
Thanks, Sam. When it comes to sporting droughts, they don't come much more stark than South Australia's failure to win the Sheffield Shield. Its last victory came nearly 30 years ago, and two key players in that memorable win say the lack of success is embarrassing.
It was the sporting result that captivated a state.
McIntyre defends. The Shield belongs to South Australia. Magnificent performance. Look at McIntyre. The bond and connection we had back then when we won the Shield was incredible. Came down to the wire, but yeah, great memories.
But ever since that magical day in 1996, state cricket lovers have waited and waited, but still no success in a 6-team competition.
I use the term unacceptable. You can't go nearly 30 years without winning the Shield. For us to be so long without, winning a title, there's no real excuses really.
First, former Australian player Mike Hussey was called in to work out long-running issues. Now McIntyre is part of efforts to improve South Australian cricket. He believes the state team will keep struggling until standards in grade cricket improve, coaching standards lift, and the right interstate players are recruited.
You need to have a combination of both. And all sports do it now. AFL draft, basketball, they all bring players from interstate to make sure that they're topping up with certain needs.
Blewett knows what works after a 46-test career in Australia's top order. He believes the success of the team's batsmen has been poor for years and must be remedied.
And if some of the guys in the top 4 or 5 don't have standout seasons, I can't see us being successful.
McIntyre doesn't understand the revolving door of coaches, the latest being former Test quick Jason Gillespie. He's backing the recent appointment of former Test quick Ryan Harris as coach and says he needs time to make his mark. McIntyre just wants the current South Australian squad to experience the joy he had 28 years ago.
We need to win a Shield and we need to win one soon.
Matthew Smith, ABC News.
We are returning live now to Chicago, where the Democratic National Convention is underway. We are expecting to hear from President Joe Biden shortly. Kamala Harris made a surprise appearance on the first day of the convention. The American Vice President will this week be formally named the party's candidate for the election in November. President Joe Biden pulled out of the race 4 weeks ago and will today deliver the keynote speech at the convention, and we'll bring you that speech live on the ABC News channel as soon as it begins. Quick look at the national weather now. Brisbane a shower or two, mostly sunny in Sydney. Canberra and Melbourne a shower or two. Hobart, chance of late showers. Rain forecast for Adelaide. A shower or two for Perth, and a sunny day in Darwin and a top of 34. And that's ABC News for now. I'm Ros Childs. Thanks for your company.